What's up, guys? Captain Jeff here, episode 12 of Catch Flights, Not Feelings. We have a special guest with us today, Andre. How are you?
Nice, and thank you for allowing me to be your co-pilot today, Captain Jeff.
No problem. Thanks for joining us. We usually before I meet someone, I was telling you before, usually I know a lot about them. Andre and I met a few months ago, probably about 4 months ago at this point, at a swim show
Yep.
by a friend of mine, Capistron. And he's a bikini designer, and plus my company sponsored an event there. He thought it was a cool concept. Our company met me and some of my team, kept in touch a little bit on Instagram, run into each other a little bit here and there. Now here he is. I don't really know anything about him, so I'm going to learn a little bit about him at the same time you guys are. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you're from and like what are you doing for a living?
Okay, thank you, Jeff. Yeah, it was a wonderful opportunity to meet you actually at the swim week.
Yeah.
It was spectacular, and I noticed the potential right away. And congratulations on your launch. And I think the plus one is going to be like spectacular thing. It's already developing very fast. About my beginnings, pretty much grew up in Europe, studied over there, and moved to the U.S. 11 years ago. Graduated college. I began working in private equity and the ocean container shipping, international trade.
Oh.
I've been there ever since. So those are kind of like my most important things, where I started, how I come from. It's just like to oversimplify.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm doing the international shipping because Miami is very like a linchpin of trade between, everything that gets here gets in containers.
Yeah.
And it's a very huge industry here. Maybe not familiar, not something that people associate with Miami that much.
Yeah.
But if you pay attention how many cargo ships are coming in every day, you're going to see it's a huge business. So
Yeah.
I'm into that. And I also do as well the transportation all over USA. So I'm a transportation company and logistics brokerage.
What type of trade? Like 18-wheeler transportation,
Yeah,
big
yeah.
semi-trucks?
Yep, 18-wheelers,
Yeah.
and we haul containers all over Florida, all over Georgia, all over USA pretty much. And I also do brokerage, so I kind of like act as a middleman between the container shipping companies and the other freight brokerage who move that. Yeah.
So what type of stuff are you hauling over from these like, gigantic shipping containers from Europe to Miami? What, are you allowed to say what type of
Yeah,
products?
I'm allowed. Yeah, it's illegal stuff. It's basically it's called freight all kinds. You can imagine electronics from Japan, non-perishable food, or water, or furniture, or clothes, or anything that can kind of come up to your mind. I'm just not doing refrigerated like eggs, milk, or something like that because that's a bit more complicated with insurance and requirements and the
So
maintenance.
non-perishable goods.
Non-perishable goods, yeah.
And where in Europe, or is it launching from multiple different cities, or you have one main city that brings it from Europe to here?
A bunch of different ports in Europe, mostly Rotterdam, Hamburg in Germany, Antwerp in Belgium, Genoa, Italy, or like a split from Croatia. Yeah, so it's basically very, it's like a huge load board, and you have ships who you follow them where they are. So they make multiple stops along the way. So it's never like set point to be, but they make multiple stops. Offload some containers, put some other ones, and they come here. So mostly coming from Europe are everything that you can think of: clothes, fashion, and a lot of foods, a lot of like Italian oil. So it's enormous. You wouldn't believe it. Yeah.
So is it a family business, or do you start this yourself? Tell me about how you got into this.
No, I began that myself. Like my mom and dad, they were school teachers. They still are. They never been into that sphere, but as I was graduating law school, I was realizing I don't really want to do that, to start like entry-level associate and then having to, because I heard a bunch of stories, they just throw a pile of documents on you and you work for them. I was like, you know what, let's try some business. I already had a friend who was working with it. He was actually importing electronics into Turks and Caicos.
Okay.
Because in Turks and Caicos, your Providenciales, they have like casinos, and they needed the slot machines, they needed the electronics, they needed a bunch of stuff. So he was the one who like figured that thing out. Like you can put that on a container, deliver there, and those people over there, they're very wealthy, they're very well established, they can pay for that. So it clicked right away. So
that's crazy. So do you own the containers only, or the ships, or lease the container? Like, tell me how it's set up. I never met anyone that does this.
Yeah, containers are owned by not even by the shipping companies. They owned by subsidiaries. It's done for the asset management protection. God forbid, the company gets sued. Ship hits something. they want to protect that so they cannot lose their containers. So it's individualized. Shipped is owned by one company, by one entity, mostly Panama or Liberia.
Okay.
That's totally different thing. It's called the flag of convenience.
Yeah.
And the other containers are owned by different subsidiaries. So I don't own containers, but I operate them. So I lease them. I buy, I pay like $3,000 for one. I put the goods in there.
Mhm.
It comes here. I pay the company, and I take the goods, sell them, and that's it. Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're pretty much like organizing the transport and everything, but you
Yeah.
don't own the stuff. You lease it. It's your job to fill it up with as much goods as possible.
Yeah.
You charge X amount of dollars after you pay all, the ship, the container fee, all this stuff, then you make a profit off of that.
Well, my main profit as well, I didn't tell you this. My main profit is actually hauling that good with my trucks. So I have my trucks wait in a port.
Okay.
Yeah, just pay attention over 395. Just there, like every 5 seconds, there's like a truck coming into the port.
What does it say, the name?
Well, it says a bunch of different names, like
Okay.
a bunch of different companies. Yeah, you have to be set up with a port to do that. It's
Okay.
not a very complicated process, to be all fairness. Some insurance requirements, some driver requirements, but my main profit is when I actually hold those goods. So I know who are like bringing my containers, what are goods that are in those containers. I put them on my truck and deliver them all over.
So that's your main profit is going from the shipping container, offloading, and then bringing it to where it needs to be. in the US.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
that's it.
Is the tariffs affecting you at all?
Absolutely, yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
So it's
but
less volume you're seeing.
a lot of less volume. I could give you like a very illustrative example. You remember during the COVID peak, like back in 2020,
Mhm.
you maybe saw on the news there were like 200 cargo ships in front of the containers in front of the port of LA. And
Yeah,
port of
I was
Long
living in
Beach.
LA at the time. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. I was actually flying over and
Flying
seeing it,
over.
yeah.
You can, because from LAX you can actually fly over and see
Yeah.
that. So that was the bottleneck that was created because people were just like having to stay at home,
Yeah.
having surplus of money because of the remember the amounts of money that was pumped in during the stimulus bill in
Mhm.
Congress. So they were just spending, and there were no tariffs. So like people were buying in enormously, but now with the Trump effective, and I like it, the tariffs are kind of like equalizing that. It's not that bad as media likes to portray it, that now all of a sudden there are no goods coming in. Basic law of economics, it's just going to be relayed to the end consumer.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And if the end consumers are willing to pay for that, and it's not really that big. It's like 20% tariff on like 80 cents shirt from China. It's really, you don't even feel it.
You're
honestly.
still saving it. The customer's still saving a lot of money.
Yeah.
And some companies said that they're going to just swallow the cost and make just less profit instead of passing like
Absolutely.
Ford. I think some auto manufacturers said that as well.
They have.
Like instead of making $6 billion, they'll make $4 billion and not really pass that cost to the customer.
Exactly. Some companies are willing to, and I think that's a responsible and fair thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. But so, as you probably see from the news, you saw that guy a few weeks ago. Unfortunately, made an illegal U-turn.
Oh yeah.
Kill the people. They're politicizing it. Obviously, illegal immigrants, stuff like that. Either way, it was a shitty situation, very bad. Since you're in that space, in that industry, what's your take on that? Do you think that he really did something stupid, or was it just bad luck? Was it just a bad mistake? Like, what's your? Do you have any opinion?
Well,
on
yeah,
that?
I do have a very, very strong opinion on that, and I have a hot take. It's a part of a broader problem that maybe it's not politically correct to say it, but the trucking industry has been largely infested by the people from the third world
Okay.
who cannot speak English, who don't know the rules of the road, who are just big hazard to be on the road.
Interesting.
But they were allowed to come in and get licenses because some guys in the freight brokerages wanted to not pay American drivers $3 per mile, but to pay Indians $1 per mile. So they were making millions of dollars in profit, and they swept it under the rug. And this thing was a ticking time bomb that was waiting to happen, and it happened. So I feel bad for that guy, but at the same time, he did like a very bad thing. He did a very responsible thing. He ought to face consequences. Also, there was like 5 years ago, a Cuban guy from Miami. Also, he was running Colorado. Colorado is very mountainous.
Yeah.
And he didn't know that he could take like a runaway exit ramp
I think I heard about that.
and he slammed into like 5 cars over there,
Yeah.
killed 5. So he got 110 years. Eventually, on appeal, he got a 10 years, which I think is a travesty, but that's just my opinion. Courts are there to say it. So
Wow.
the change is coming.
There's been more regulation.
Yeah, and now they're gonna put ICE patrols on Florida way stations. So a bunch of people who are like undocumented driving here illegally are not going to be able to do that anymore, and it's gonna be a big lifeline for the American truckers.
So it's just amazing that they're even allowed to drive such a large vehicle that poses such a safety risk
Yeah,
when they're not even legal citizens and don't speak the language. It's just
exactly.
insane. I'm not saying they're bad drivers, but it's taking business away from Americans that need to work because they're
Absolutely.
undercutting the cost. Kind of like you said, the flag's a convenience thing. I kind of know a little bit about that because of aviation.
Yeah.
I know it's big in the maritime industry, but aviation is not really legal to have like an airline based in Ireland to save labor costs, right?
Exactly.
So thank God they don't have that for the airline industry, but I know that's kind of what decimated like the cruise shipping industry, like the pay and stuff
Yeah.
like that. They get cheap labor from all over the world, even though the ship is coming out in and out of Miami, right? They hang the flag in Ireland where it has very
Yeah.
lax labor laws. So that's what flag of convenience is.
Ryanair, pretty much,
Yeah,
Ireland
Ryanair.
and everything.
Yeah.
And also, you being a captain, you realize that, back there, like maybe 90s, there was a law where air traffic controllers were not allowed to have any accent whatsoever. I think it's still in place. So if an airline industry and in the shipping industry have to speak English, why not in the trucking? Because in the trucking, you're most likely to kill someone on the road.
Yeah.
Aviation is super safe, pretty much.
Yeah, There's lots of regulation in aviation. They should have just as much in trucking because, these are massive machines that could kill a lot of people.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, and they do,
Wow,
unfortunately.
I don't even know exactly what happened. I know he made an illegal U-turn on a road, and I guess there was cars coming. They couldn't stop in time. Is that essentially what happened?
Yeah, well, it happened on Florida Turnpike. I know that.
Was it like
actually.
nighttime or daytime?
Daytime, yeah.
And that's surprising.
So those official use only, like U-turns, are made for emergency services. So you imagine you're like a state trooper, and you got a call. There was a crash on southbound. You were northbound, so
Yeah.
you're just using that to be able to get there fast, but not for a semi truck. Semi truck has to use like official exit, to go there
Yeah, of
because.
course.
Yeah, now in trial they're gonna see maybe the car was traveling a bit fast. I don't even know, but the point of story, you made illegal U-turn.
his
You're
fault,
pretty
yeah.
much 100% at fault. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Wow, yeah, it's a shame that all those people died from that mistake.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but at least we know now because of Andre, because he's in the
Yeah.
business, that there is a fix coming, and
Yep.
they are, I'm sure, with Trump in office, and the people
Oh,
that
yeah.
they're just going to use that fact that he was illegal. They're going to politicize it more to try to get that change
Yeah.
come into effect. Versus if it just gives it more ammunition, be like, hey, we need more regulation in this. We need people that are paid properly, that know what they're doing, know the regulations, know the language, know the science, and could follow the rules of the road.
That's the basic common sense.
Yeah.
And even the state troopers were writing, like to the Trump administration offices, they would pull over a trucker from India, Uzbekistan, you name it. They weren't able to communicate with them on a basic level. Like
Yeah.
you were speeding, they would just look at them like you don't understand that. So that change is coming, thankfully, to the Trump administration, and we're very happy about it.
Good,
Very
good.
happy about it.
Well, that's good. So I learned, what you do, make money. You seem like a very successful guy. That's great. Congratulations on that. He
Thank
lives in a nice building. Talk about running into him. I was just, I met him initially at the swim week a few weeks ago. Then he was driving his car. And he saw me talking to some girl by the gym. He's like, "Hey, Jeff, what's up?" And then we talked there. And then I ran into him again last week. I was touring the building that he lives in, my realtor, and he was on the rooftop. It's one of the nicest buildings in Miami. And he was in the rooftop, and it was a funny coincidence. And he's like, "Oh, I got to come on your podcast," and here we are.
Yeah,
So,
that's spectacular. I would really want you to be my neighbor, and we
Yeah.
could hang out on the rooftop. Well, Paramount is really like
Beautiful.
paramount.
And when I was there was this super beautiful girl there. You see a girl when I met you, had like a perfect body.
Yeah,
You know that girl?
yeah,
So it was funny because I thought that there was like a big guy with a kid. I thought they were together, but they weren't.
they weren't.
So,
Yeah,
so I asked her, I was like, what do you, just out of curiosity, I'm touring it. I was like, how do you like it here? She's like, I love it, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what do you pay for rent? The funny is, she didn't know because her fucking boyfriend pays. It's like typical Miami girl, like she's like, we have a 3-bedroom. He probably pays like $6,000 to $10,000 a month. I was like, oh, it must be nice, So that just goes to show you how easy these hot girls in Miami have it. Which brings me to my next question, Andre. Are you single? Are you married? What's your relationship status?
I've been married for 3 years. I'm in a committed relationship right now. So luckily, my wife is not really like that. But yeah, I also provide for that. But my girls in Miami, they really have it that way.
Yeah.
You know, they call it privilege or entitlement or whatsoever. But they're just so like oblivious to the fact that, you know, you have some bills to pay. So not all of them, but in Paramount, I've seen a bunch of my neighbors, you know, operate that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed. I just in the elevator and going to some of the common areas on my tour in the building. It looked like there's a lot of like OnlyFans type girls that live there,
Yeah.
or like these like scammy looking like 20-some-year-old kids that are like sell these courses or have exotic car. Anytime someone says they sell a course online,
forget
or they have
about
an
it.
exotic car rental company, or they do crypto, immediately in Miami, that's like a red flag. You're a scammer. And it seemed like there's quite a bit of those just from my walkthrough through there. Tell me a little bit about your experience about the type of people that live there in these other nice buildings in Miami.
Yeah, so actually what you actually described right now is a microcosm of Miami. So OnlyFans girls, Bob House, although they live in the building, I see them every day, and those kids in rented out Uruses that sell you some courses, crypto, something so vague, so like, you know, not familiar. So it's funny. It's like Miami in a nutshell, pretty much. So, but it's a cliche. It's the way how you see them, how they act. I've been here for like 11 years. I know all of those places. I know all of those faces. I know all of the clubs, everything. So instantly, you know what's happening. Or when you see like a real estate girl, you know she's not a real estate. Like it's just like, you know, facade for that. Like she has fake boobs, fake tits, fake everything, fake like nails, but she does real estate. And actually, there was this funny meme on Instagram. Maybe you saw it, actually. A real estate girl in Miami. They put like a blonde in like a shirt and everything. That thing blew off.
Yeah. It's funny because they use it as a way to meet wealthy men. To find sugar daddies. And I feel like, and it's a low barrier to entry. You don't need a degree or anything. You go online, take a course, and all of a sudden you're a realtor. And then it's an easy way to meet wealthy men. So
that's exactly what they do. Yeah, but for most of them who actually are escorts, they hide that as you know being a realtor. So
there's a fine line between being an escort and a realtor, or like an OnlyFans girl. And you know, I feel like most women are for sale here. It's just a question of how much they cost.
Yeah.
Even like the normal girls, like they claim that they don't care about money. If you offer them the right price, they'll do pretty much whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's just crazy how transactional of a society we live in, which is good and bad. It's good if you're a man in Miami that makes good money, does well, you get whatever girl you want.
Yeah.
Or it's bad if you're a broke guy, then you can't get a girl. You're going to be stuck getting some fat girl. No offense, fat girls, and we love to. But if you want like a 9 or a 10, that's not happening unless you're taking them to the finest restaurants, taking them shopping. You could probably relate to me. You've been in a committed relationship for 3 years. Tell me about, you have the similar experience when you were single dating in Miami before you got married?
Yeah. Well, I'm talking from my previous experiences, but I have a bunch of them. So exactly what you're talking about. You know, you heard that notion of women with high standards, right? So that thing was being pushed right now, shoved down our throats a lot. It's just a fine way to say, you know, I have entitlement and I expect like princess treatment whatsoever. I want the finest restaurants, the finest handbags. I want this. I want the apartments. I want the car. I want everything. So everything is super transactional and it's materialistic to the way that it's not even like healthy anymore. I know the world where my mom and dad were growing up, living in, and where we live right now, everything has went sideways. It's how it is in Miami. So you really have to be on your A game and not to like allow yourself to fall in the trap of being just invisible ATM. So my advice to the young guys is never do that. Never allow some Miami girl to sell you some notion that she deserves the world and just to use you and dump you, because trust me, like I've seen those stories all over. So I try to like, you know, teach some healthy, you know, things in a way as well. Yeah.
Do you have any kids?
Not yet right now, but I plan in the next year or two.
30s, early 40s?
I'm 32 right now, yeah.
32?
32.
32,
So
okay.
35, I was like set up.
Plenty of time.
Yeah.
I'm 42 and I still have no kids. I'm still a recovered fuckboy. You know what fuckboy is? So covering. I'm talking to a girl. This girl this girl from Belarus, nice woman,
Mm-hmm.
a 23-year-old.
Oh, I
She
saw
came,
that, yeah.
she came to visit me, cute girl. We've been texting on Instagram for 2.5 years, but last weekend was our first time meeting, and
Okay.
she wasn't a catfish. So it was cool. So it was nice. But we video chatted before. We got along well.
Video chat.
She lives in Orlando. But yeah, I'm just date a little bit here and there, trying to find some a balance between a hot girl and someone that's not just using me for money, someone that we click with
Exactly.
personality wise. And it is a struggle in Miami. I'll give you a good example. I was at this place in Fort Lauderdale. I was talking to these two girls that are visiting from the Midwest somewhere. I told them about how bad it is dating in Miami, how this girl asked me to buy her a Hermes bag,
Yeah, I know.
on
Happened
our
to me.
third date. And I was like, I told the girls that those girls didn't even know what a Hermes bag was.
Yeah.
That just shows you the difference. You have one girl asking me to buy her a $20,000 bag on the third date, and these girls from the Midwest didn't even know what the hell Hermes was,
I know.
right? And so it's just, I don't care if you want to be a label whore and show off all this fucking stuff on your. Just work for it. To expect some guy to buy it for you just because you feel like you deserve it. That's
Exactly.
to me. That's my issue.
Well, that's the difference between like Midwest. It's like a real American mentality. Like the people who work over there, they're humble, they're God loving. It's a Trump country,
Yeah.
And the women are not delusional over there. Versus in Miami is a very international city. So every working girl, escort, model, whatsoever, came to Miami hoping to live the hottest lifestyle.
Yeah.
So she doesn't see you as a Captain Jeff. She doesn't see you as someone who's super successful, someone who's an airline captain
Right.
who had the enormous burden on your shoulders.
Yeah.
You're just there. You're a cool guy, you're nice, you look good, but eventually she wants some material stuff. So in that case, just cut her off and go with that Belarusian girl. If she sees you as a person, in that case, even if it's okay, if you get the opportunity somehow to buy, if you want to, but on a third date, even on the 13th date, it's not the appropriate. But there are some cucks who do that.
Yeah.
Some old guys who do that.
A lot of them. Yeah.
And now the younger guys are expected to do the same thing, and I'm like, and it's so messed up.
So I work hard for my money, and I'm trying to put my money into my business to help it grow. And like, I don't want to just waste all my money on a woman, right? So
it's the worst thing
I
you
don't
can
mind
do.
taking her out to nice places and vacations, paying for vacations. But when you demand like me to pay my rent plus your rent, that's where I draw the line. Like, all right,
That's
if we
hilarious.
get serious enough for you to move in with me, fine. You don't have
Yeah.
to pay rent. But like for her to expect me to bear the burden of my rent plus her rent just because that's just insane.
That's
And
insane.
I asked one girl, I had a date with her. I was in Vegas a couple months ago. We had a date, and she had that kind of Miami type girl vibe. And I was just like, what would you expect for a serious boyfriend or husband to make per year minimum for you to consider? I said minimum, and she told me $700,000 a year. I was like, oh, good luck with that.
Good luck
I was
with
like,
that,
you want a
yeah.
guy to not only look good and meet all these other, be over 6 feet tall. They have all these like
No,
unrealistic
fine,
expectations.
yeah.
Plus makes $700K, which is a 0.01%. I was like, these girls are just delusional because they see a small subset of people online living this
Yeah.
lifestyle, but they don't see like. I asked one girl, "What do you think the average salary is for a man in Miami?" She's like, "I don't know, like 250,000." I said, "Average."
Average.
No. So in reality, it's like 60 or 70, 60,000, something like that. So these girls, you just have no clue on,
They're
on what
clueless
reality is.
because they never made money on their own. They think it's super easy. They never did. They never accomplished anything. So you remember that girl that was probably the most ridiculed. I actually know her personally. That was the most ridiculed person online. She goes, I don't go on a coffee dates or walk dates. We're gonna study a bit, and the next video goes, I'm freezing my eggs without makeup. She's in a total like psychological meltdown and everything. Maybe you saw that video.
I think you have to send that to me. It sounds
Yeah,
familiar.
yeah, I'll
is
send-
she single? Well, hook me up. I'll
No,
straight up.
she's not a single. She's married to some black guy,
married,
which is
yeah.
even story of its own. Like 1,000 year of Croatian descendants down the drain, whatever. So she was like probably those reels had like millions of views and likes and everything because she tried so hard to portray herself as a woman with high standards, she put like shit ton of makeup, like enough to like be like a foundation for a skyscraper. And I said, I don't take coffee dates or walk dates. I'm not a dog that needs to be walked.
That sounds familiar, actually. Yeah.
And she tried to sound so like intellectually high ground, like so condescending and overbearing in a way, but she sounded so stupid. Then after like few months, she made that other video, and somebody took it and they ridiculed her so hard. So, and I wanted to tell her, listen, you're not a doctor, you're not a lawyer, you're not a pilot, you're not an engineer, you have no real job, you have no education, you have accomplished nothing in your life.
Her only purpose is to look hot and find a guy to support her.
You put fake tits, you put shit ton of makeup, and now you think that you deserve the world. Like you have serious mental issues. You have serious mental issues.
There's a lot of that going on, but thankfully, I'm a pilot. I could fly girls in from the Midwest. I could pay for their Brightline from Orlando, like I did that Belarusian girl. It was funny because her and I were supposed to meet like last year. Like I said, we've been talking 2.5 years, but she was in an on and off again toxic relationship. She never pulled the trigger to meet me. One time she said, I was like, all right, I'll give you $200. She's like, I promise I'm going to come this weekend to visit you. I'll give her $200 to use for the Brightline, and she was supposed to send me some nudes. Whatever. But she did neither. She did neither. She didn't send me the nudes or get on the Brightline. This was like 1.5 years ago. So I hired a lawyer to go because she never gave me money back. So I don't know if you saw it on my Instagram. It says like Miami guy sues woman over nude deal gone wrong.
I think I have.
So I kind of made like a whole fake article about it. I tagged her in it. I got a lawyer to write her a demand letter to give me the money back. And she actually gave me the money back, and she actually thought it was funny that I
small claims court.
I tried to sue her for $200, but I was like, I just want to make a point out of it. And then here we are, 1.5 years later, we actually ended up meeting and getting along. So it's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
But, do you know about that T app?
T app?
Have you heard of T?
No.
Yeah, you spill the tea on someone. So there's this app that went viral where women. Do you know T app?
Yeah.
So his niece is here. She's from Sweden.
She doesn't know as well.
She doesn't know? So it's a big...
I think I know.
It's an app where women... Do you know T-App, Victor? He knows, okay. Yeah. So our engineer knows the T-App. So it's where women trash talk men anonymously.
I know.
Okay? So it's like... They don't put their name. They don't have to put. They make up some bogus name, and then like you could give them a green flag or red flag. Red flag means bad. Green flag means good, and then they could leave comments on the person. So the way like men aren't allowed to use it, but I have some female friends, and they saw my profile, and they're like, I have not only one, but I have 2 profiles, and there's like all these girls trash talking me, and like I have 30 red flags on one of the profiles. But the sad thing is, it's stuff that's like not even true. Some of the stuff's not even true. So they either embellish the story or they just make up shit just because they don't like you. Maybe they saw my Instagram calling out girls or whatever. They saw me on TV before or something they don't like about me, right?
Exactly.
So they go on there and they slander me and they don't realize. So I sent a letter to an email to the company, the T-App company saying.
That's a defamation.
Oh yeah, I was like, you guys are promoting slanderous defamation. It's ruining my reputation. I was like, if you don't take it down, I'm going to sue them. So I might actually start a lawsuit against that company.
And I think you're going to win that case easily because it's really not, it's something that's damaging you so badly without even any like normal legal grounds or foundations. So I think you should definitely proceed with the legal case again.
Now, most of this time, like, because I saw the comments, I don't know who these people are because it's anonymous, but one I knew because it was just like a day before I had I stopped talking to this one girl. So I knew it was her. And I called her. I was like, why the fuck did you write this about me? She's like, oh, I didn't write it. I told my friend about you and she wrote it pretending to be me. And then the shit wasn't even true. It was actually a girl I had on my podcast the last time, Viviana. That girl. So her friend apparently wrote like, oh, he followed her home. First of all, I didn't follow her home. She lives right around the block. I walked her home to her lobby because I parked right next to her. Then she's like, oh, he offered her money for sex. I never offered her money for sex. I offered her money to come to my apartment because she needs money. I wanted her to like cook food. I never offered her money. So it's like all this shit that's not even true or embellished. And then she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know my friend wrote that about you," and she got it deleted. Because I said, "If you don't get it deleted, I'm going to get you deported."
Yeah,
She's here on
yeah.
a student visa,
Yeah.
and she's doing all sorts of illegal shit, like writing false claims about people. She's working when she shouldn't be doing all this illegal shit. I was like,
All eyes right
you know,
away.
what the fuck are you doing? You're trying to ruin my reputation. Now, I don't really usually give a fuck what people think about me, but like if I go, let's say I meet some
No,
girl at the
of
bar,
course.
then she goes on this stupid app to look me up. That might ruin my chance with another girl.
Exactly.
When I could have had her if these people weren't writing false
Yeah.
comments about me.
That's actually very bad. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, remember it's relatable. The Kavanaugh case, the Supreme Court guy, some claim of 40 years ago he raped me whatsoever. So now all of the women can anonymously bring up false claims about you, and they're going to ruin your reputation because some reasonable person, some reasonable girl who might want to date you is not going to do that because all of the other girls said that. So that's a very bad thing. And it's so bad.
Yeah.
It's actually part of the pattern where everything is stacked up against the man. Even in divorces, like if you try to divorce a woman, even if you don't have kids whatsoever, she can still get alimony.
That's crazy.
You can still be liable to now. So listen, she was lazy. You were doing all the work. You were the captain. She was staying home. She was using your money to buy purses, whatever. You divorced now. She says, because of him, I wanted to stay home and I didn't go to college. Now I'm not prepared for the single life. The judges, even in the USA, can still say, Jeff, you're liable to pay for her college tuition for 3 years until she gets ready for the single life. That's true.
Hence why I'm single.
That's what's
and if I ever get married, I'd be signing a prenup for sure because
not having a prenup
I've heard
is
way too many people get fucked over by greedy women that just want to take half of their money. So it's a shame that we live in that society. But yeah, there's no way I would even entertain a marriage without a prenup.
Yeah, because she can flip the script on you easily like that.
I mean, I have a book coming out. I don't know if you know that book, Catch Flights on
of course,
Feelings.
I know, of course.
I got the app. I have all these things going on, my pilot thing. So like I work hard to get to this level, and I don't want to have to give it away to a woman that just wants a free ride.
That doesn't deserve.
Yeah, that's it's a shame that we live in that society. And you're right. I think living in Florida definitely is better for me than when I was living in California.
Yeah,
it's probably a little bit more. I guess maybe fair for the man, but you could still I'm sure get fucked over royally if you marry the wrong woman.
Yeah, you will.
And I'm paranoid because like I've never done anything illegal in my life. I don't do drugs. I've never done anything illegal. I like to say I have high morals, but the only thing that's bad about me is I call people out. So a lot of these women don't like the fact I'm overly honest. If they fuck me over, I might call them out on Instagram and tag them and be like, "Oh, this girl's not reliable. She flakes," or whatever. So I say it as a joke because it's very relatable for when guys and girls see my Instagram to see these like Miami dating highlights.
Yeah.
It's relatable. It shows how toxic it is dating here. Girls ask me to pay their rent and all that stuff. So I do it more in fun, but also, I don't mind tagging a girl in there that kind of did something stupid for me. But that's probably why I get a little bit of hate. But other than that, I've never I've never stalked a girl. I've never hit a girl. I've never done anything bad to a girl. Yeah. But I, sometimes I'll like tell them off or tell them to go fuck themselves if they fuck me over, right? You fuck me over, and I'm gonna like tell you how it is. So sometimes I could say things that they're not expecting me to say because I don't want to be walked all over, right, and be treated like a piece of shit. And I tell them how it is. So my only fault, I guess, is I'm overly honest, and I don't take shit from people, whether you're a man or a woman. So women feel like that you should never talk to them a certain way, but it's like, hey, if you treat me this way, I'm gonna give you the energy that I'm receiving.
Exactly.
Right. So they think that they have to be put on a pedestal. They could do whatever they want to the man and expect for no reaction in return.
Oh yeah.
But I think that's bullshit.
That's bullshit.
And it's like you want to be treated equal. You want to get equal pay. You want all this stuff. Then you're gonna be. Have to take responsibility for your actions.
I commend you about that. Absolutely. That's called having a backbone and having your ground to stand up for you, whatever, because they use that, they manipulate it so badly. They treat you like shit. They use you, and they want you to stay silent, not say anything. So I actually love that. But they spin everything. They say, oh, this guy is crazy. Look what he wrote, whatever. So you just have to deal with it in a way. But I mean, if you were wrong, I would have told you.
Yeah.
But you're not wrong about that. Hey, she did this stupid. I'll tell that. If you feel that way, you have a right to say it. It's your First Amendment. Fuck them.
I'm so paranoid that women are going to actually lie You know, so when I have a woman come over my house, I have like security cameras inside.
Yeah.
Nothing hidden. They know they can see it like in the living room, and it picks up audio. I have a camera in the entrance. Plus, my friend's been drugged before and robbed.
It happens all the
Right.
time
So
in Miami.
so not only just so I don't want to get scopolamine and robbed. So that, but also a woman say I did something to her. So it's picking up the audio, the conversation the whole time because I'm like paranoid about stuff like that too. So
You should be because it happened a lot of times. There were a lot of false accusations, a lot of robberies. You saw what happened in Sugar East like a month ago. This girl from Vegas.
robbed the
She
guy,
came.
right?
I mean, the guy should have known better.
Yeah.
If you do that, you're in a 60% chance that she might take something.
Yeah.
So, but it's just like it's Miami, bro. It's a dark forest
Yeah.
with a lot of sketchy creatures in there. So you got to be super careful. And you got to protect yourself. So
Yeah, and someone could accuse you of something, even if you didn't do it, it still ruins your reputation.
It ruins your
So, like,
reputation,
yeah,
and you got to go through litigation.
Yeah, I've definitely overly paranoid about that, and I was thinking about having girls sign an NDA when they go on dates with me. Well, I'm not that famous yet, but when I get a little more famous, like people like Leonardo, Eskimo brother, you know that term?
Yeah, I know.
Eskimo brothers, when two guys had shared the same woman before. So when I lived in LA, I was always dating different girls, and I always asked them like, "Oh, have you ever hooked up with someone famous?" So me and Leonardo DiCaprio are Eskimo brothers, and then a few other people that are like famous or whatever. But she said that Leo makes girls sign an NDA before they hook up. Right?
Yeah, not only Leo, but a bunch of other celebrities.
Yeah.
I've been in those parties on Star Island. Not those, but I've been in a lot of places where I heard a lot of stories that a bunch of 20 models, they go on a yacht, so they drop them off at the mansion at the Venetian or the Star Island, and they all have to sign the paperwork, and they don't know what they're signing on.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, next time you go to a party or yacht, man, you better invite me. Yeah,
I will.
We're gonna be doing another yachts next month sometime, so I'll let you come on.
Thank you for the invitation on August 10th. I was in Vegas. I wasn't here.
Yeah,
so.
no worries. Yeah, but we're gonna try to do that like once a month or every other month, and get a little good publicity for us and stuff. So, I guess it's been over 30 minutes, man. You want anything else you want to say? Right here.
I'm glad we had this conversation.
Yeah.
We touched a lot of different subjects from business, from immigration, from politics, from Miami dating, from Miami. So I think this was 30 minutes of very holistic conversation. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I learned a lot about you. You seem like a very successful guy, self-made. You do a lot of really cool stuff with your life. So I'm looking forward to getting to know you a little better, hanging out sometime, and
hopefully we're gonna be neighbors. So.
Yeah. All right, man. Thanks for coming on the show. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeff.
Right,
Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Thanks, and we'll see you in another week or two. All right, thanks.